Hello astronomers, myself Ranjit Kumar. I am an astronomer and an astronomy educator with Space India. In this video we are going to unbox the telescope F480 Refractor telescope with equi-mount. Once we unbox the telescope, we are going to understand how to assemble the telescope, and after that we are going to understand how to point this telescope towards any particular object. So let's unbox the telescope. So first we have a manual. This manual will help us to understand more about the telescope, what are the parts available in the telescope, how to assemble the telescope. So all the instructions are given in the manual. I'm going to keep the manual this side. So these are the 4 boxes we have. First I'm going to open the bigger box. So we have 3 legs of the tripod in that box. So I'm going to keep the 3 legs of the tripod this side. Then I'm going to open this box. So we have the optical tube in this box. Next I'm going to open this box. So in this box we have 2 things. One, the equi-mount, and the other one, screw. We have the last box. We have the adjustment cables. We have the rod to carry our weights. We have 2 eyepieces. We have the auxiliary tray, tripod leg connector, a viewfinder, the star diagonal, weight, some screws for the tripod, and some wingnets, 3 smaller wingnets and 3 bigger wingnets, and we have 1 screwdriver also. So these are the parts we have from this particular telescope. Let's understand how to assemble a telescope. In the assembling part of the telescope, first I have taken 1 tripod leg. When I take 1 leg from the tripod box, it is expanding. So first we have to lock this. So to lock this we have these screws. So just to insert the screw and then tighten it. So once we tighten this properly, our telescope cannot be extended. So if you want to extend, you can loosen this and we can extend the tripod, then we can lock it. Similarly, do the same for the other 2 tripod legs. So now we have fixed the 3 tripod legs, but still the tripod legs needs to be connected. How to connect? Here we have this tripod connector. In this tripod connector you can find there are 2 holes, and in this tripod leg also you can find there are holes. So we have to coincide these 2 holes and then take the wing screws, the bigger wing screws. So remove the washer and bolt from the wing nut. Make all the 4 holes coincide, and you have to insert the wing screw from this side, because this side you can find there is a place for the screw head. So insert from this side. Once you inserted the screw, put the washer and then tighten with the wing bolt. We have done this for 1 leg. Similarly do it for the other 2 legs. Now we have attached the tripod legs with the connector. While attaching the tripod legs, make sure all the 3 tray support has to be point inside it, like this. But our tripod is small, so to extend the tripod we can loosen this screw. I am going to do the same for the other 2 sides to keep it on the ground. So now I have expanded the tripod legs, but still our tripod is not stable. See, we can expand a tripod, we can compress a tripod. To fix this, what we have to do, we are going to attach the auxiliary tray on the tray support. So now I am ready with the auxiliary tray. In the auxiliary tray you can find a small hole at the corner. So whereas in the support also you can find there are some big hole. So what you have to do, you have to make the two holes coincide and then insert the smaller walnut. So we have two washers along with the walnut. So one washer, let it be, and remove one washer. Keep it like this. Insert the screw from the top and then put the other washer. Then insert the walnut. Now we have fixed one tripod leg with the auxiliary tray. So similarly do for this other two sides. So yes, now our tripod is completely done. In the auxiliary tray we can keep our eyepiece. You can see there are places for the eyepiece. We have two eyepieces from this telescope box. So I have taken two eyepieces, one 25 mm and the other one 6 mm. So I have kept both the eyepieces in the auxiliary tray. The basic difference between the two eyepieces is the magnification. With 20 mm eyepiece we can magnify up to 20 times. Means we can see the objects 20 times closer. And with 6 mm eyepiece we can magnify up to 66 times. So this is the basic difference between the two eyepieces. So once we have fixed our eyepiece, now our tripod part is completely done. Let's move to the mounting part. So once we have done with the tripod, next step what we are going to do, we are going to attach the EQ mount with the tripod. So to attach the EQ mount with the tripod, here you can see there is a knob over here. So just to loosen the knob and take the knob out. Take out the knob. Insert this part of the telescope on its place and then put back the screw. We have attached the mount with the tripod legs. Next step what we are going to do, we are going to attach the optical tube in the mount. But before that I would like to explain the parts involved in this mount. Let's see what are the parts available from this mount. So first we have this screw. This screw is called as latitude adjustment lock. So we can adjust our latitude with the help of this screw. And so to explain the remaining parts from the mount, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just rotate the mount. Now we have these two screws. If you loosen the screw, we can make a telescope to move this direction. So this screw is called as declination lock. If you lock this, we have locked our left to right movement. So now we have this screw. This screw is called as a right ascension lock. If you loosen this, we can do the bottom to top movement. So if you lock this, then this movement is also locked. I hope the role of these three screws are clear. So next you can see there are two ball caps. So you can remove the caps. We have these two adjustment cables. So you can just loosen the screw. So I have changed the direction to show you how it can be mounted. So I have loosened the screw. Then insert this part inside the adjustment cable. Like this. And then tighten it. Similarly, loosen the screw and then insert. Yes. So now what is the use of these two things? Let's say you have pointed any object. We know as the earth rotates, objects in the night sky also seems to be rotating. These two cables are used to track those objects. This cable controls the declination and this cable controls the right ascension. So you can see as I adjust this, you can see the movement here. And similarly, if we adjust this knob, that is the right ascension knob, you can see the height is increased gradually. So instead of adjusting my complete setup, my complete mount setup, I can adjust these two cables to track the object. So this is the specialty of the mount. We can track the object. So the next step what we have to do, we have to fix this azimuthal lock. How to fix? You can see there is a hole over here. So what we have to do, we have to insert the screw. So this screw is called as azimuth adjustable lock, because if we adjust this, you can see the movement. You can see the telescope is moving like this. We can make the azimuthal movement with the help of this. We have these two screws. If this screw is not there, we can move. This telescope can be movable top to bottom. So this screw fix our altitude. So that's the role of this, and this screw will make the azimuthal movement. I hope now it is clear about the parts of the mount. So next what we are going to do, we are going to attach the optical tube, but before that we are going to put the counterweight. So to fix the counterweight, first what we have to do, we have to take this rod, and you can see here there is a hole. So we have to insert this rod and then screw it. We have fixed the rod with the mount. So next what we have to do, we have to remove this washer and the screw at the bottom. And while doing this, make sure you have locked all the screws to avoid damage and to balancing the mount. So now I have removed the washer and the screw. Then I am going to insert the weight. Initially make the weight at the center and then lock with the help of the screw. Do take care when you are doing like this. Once it is fixed, you can put the screw back in and you can tighten this. So now we have fixed our mount with the tripod legs. Let's understand how to attach the optical tube on the mount. So here I am ready with the optical tube. On the optical tube there are two wing nuts. So just to loosen the wing nuts, take out the nut, and we have two washers. Take out one washer as well. Insert these two extensions on the mount. Put the washer back in and then tighten this nut. Now we have attached the optical tube with the mount. Next we have to attach the finder scope. To fix the finder scope, here you can see there is a place for the finder scope. So remove the bolt. So once you have taken out the bolt, next step what you have to do, you have to insert this two extension on the bracket. So make sure you have placed your finder scope in such a way that the bigger diameter side pointing the same side of the telescope. Like this, and then put the screws. So we have fixed our finder scope. Next we have to insert the diagonal. To insert the diagonal, here you can see there is a place for the diagonal. Just to loosen the screw and take out the white color cap. And similarly in the diagonal also you can see there are two caps. Just to loosen the screw, take out the cap and take out this cap also, and then insert the silver color part inside it and then tighten the screws. And make sure this diagonal is not coming out from the optical tube. So now we have inserted the diagonal. So the last thing in the assembling part is to insert the eyepiece. I am taking 25 mm eyepiece as it is best for beginners. As it covers more area, we can find the object easily. So I inserted the 25 mm eyepiece, and similarly you can find the small screws, lock screws. You can tighten this lock screw. So yes, now we have done with the assembling part of the telescope. I would like to explain the role of this weight. See, as we fix the weight at the center, you can see our telescope is balanced. Even if you lose also, this is not falling down. But what if this weight is in this corner? See, now it can come this side. So that is the role of this counterbalance. Similarly, if I make the counterweight on this side, you can see this is what will happen in case of the balancing. So we have to make sure our telescope is balanced. So you can see it is fine. So I'm going to tighten this also. So that's the role of the counterweight. Let's understand how to align this particular telescope towards any object. In the aligning part of the telescope, first what we have to do, we have to align the finder scope and the eyepiece. To align our finder scope with the eyepiece, what we have to do, we have to first point any terrestrial objects like trees, towers, buildings from the eyepiece. Make the object comes in the center of the eyepiece And once the object comes in the center of the eyepiece, now go to the viewfinder, keep your eye on the viewfinder, make the same object comes in the center of the viewfinder also. If it is not in the center, you can find there are 3 screws. You can adjust these 3 screws to get the same object in the center of the eyepiece. This alignment is very important. As we move to the celestial object, this makes our job easier. Before pointing any object, make sure you have removed the cap from the front of the telescope. As we are going to point the celestial object in the night time, it will be very difficult for us to get an object in the night, in the dark. That's the reason why we have aligned the finder scope and the eyepiece, because it will be easier to find the object in the finder scope, as the finder scope covers more area. Once we make the object in the center of the finder scope, then it is obvious that the same object will be in the center of the eyepiece also, as we aligned both of them. If you want to track the object, you can use these 2 cables. So this is how we point any object from this particular telescope, and we have few more important things on the mount. So let's understand what is the role of those things. So we have this reading on the mount. So this reading represents the latitude. So whatever the latitude you are doing the observation, you have to fix that latitude. So we are from Chennai. So the latitude of Chennai is 13 degree. So I'm going to make this as 13 degree. By loosening this, I can change as a 13 degree. So this is done. We have 2 more markings. So this marking represents the RA for the particular object, and this marking represents the declination. So these are the few important markings we have from this telescope. I hope you learned how to assemble and how to align this particular telescope towards any particular objects. So wish you all clear skies, happy hunting everyone. Bye bye.